vanish.
Hey, what's happening to you guys? Extreme Sonic here and welcome back to another video. Today I have a very interesting theory to share with you guys today. Now this theory, I don't know how much of it is actually true, how much of it will actually happen, but it is a very interesting theory in itself, and I kind of want to share with you guys and see what the community think of this particular theory. Now obviously this theory is not mine. This theory belongs to a Reddit user by the name of Create Luther, who did the research, who did the speculations, who did all that stuff. So what I'm doing today is I'm going to be giving this theory a bit of light, talk about it because it is interesting. It got me thinking, so I'm like, yo, let me share it out and see what people are thinking. So basically, his theory starts out in sections. He talks about the Makaioshins, aka the demon gods. He talks about Patrol Time Future Trunks, talks about Black Goku, he talks about all of this stuff, and he ties it in such an interesting way that I'm thinking, yo, let's look into it. So basically, he starts out by explaining who the Makaioshins are, how the Migra came into existence, how he became a demon god. And it's basic stuff that if you look into it in Wikipedia, something like that, you probably find the answer. But he explains a brief history of who the Migra is. He gives a history of who the Supreme Kai of Time is, aka Kona, aka that little girl or old lady that helps you out in Xenoverse. He ties all that in. So before the Migra was evil, he was a wizard in the Heavenly Realm who walked alongside Kona in raising Toki. Now Toki is the bird, the old looking yellow bird that you see flying around, all that stuff. So pretty much after a while of raising Toki into an adult bird and giving him the title of Supreme Kai of Time, I guess the Migra became jealous. He wanted to have more power, I guess, so he became evil. He became the demon god, or whatever the case may be. And pretty much sometime around his reign of evil, he pretty much travels back in time. Well, I think this was after he, I guess, escapes, and he travels back in time with a possessed great ape Gohan, to prevent people from stopping him from interfering with his plans and stuff like that. And essentially, Konoha, aka the Supreme Kai of Time, went into battle against the Migra. I know the battle went on for a bit. I think Konoha was losing her foot, she was about to lose. Then all of a sudden, a random hero appears out of nowhere to help the Supreme Kai of Time. Who could it be? It's none other than Super Saiyan God Beat. Now, if you don't know who Super Saiyan God Beat is, Beat is a character from the Dragon Ball Heroes game. Now that game is only in Japan, but it's really popular from what I'm hearing, and pretty much he's like the main character. So he travels back in time, I guess, with the Supreme Kai of Time of that period and Zen, and essentially Beat and the Migra engage in combat. They both power up, and that was the end of it. That's how he ends this particular part of the theory. So he somehow ties in Super Saiyan God Beat into this, and we'll see why as the theory goes on. It's actually pretty interesting. So a couple of, I guess, time went on, and Konoha, Supreme Kai of Time, needed an assistant. So she goes after Future Trunks and deceives Future Trunks by telling him that what you did is a mortal sin, traveling back in time and creating a time machine. And now you have to work under me if you want to atone for your sins. She's pretty much playing on Future Trunks' innocence. Now, Future Trunks, being a good guy that he is, and he wanted to do what is right, agrees to be, have time patroller and help her out with any of the crises. But what is interesting is that what he's speculating is that Konoha didn't tell Future Trunks that, at the time, traveling back in time wasn't a sin because no one had actually traveled back in time. Like, no humans has actually been able to travel back in time because, Bulma was the first human to, create a time machine, and Trunks was the first half human, half Saiyan to travel back in time. So it wasn't necessarily a sin till after, Trunks and Bulma did what they did, which prompted to time traveling becoming a sin. So basically that's how, I guess, the Supreme Kai of Time deceived future Trunks to becoming, as we know him now, the Time Patrol future Trunks. So basically, she warns Trunks of the incoming threat, being pretty much Mira and her plans to create chaos and all that stuff. So what Trunks did was, as he explains it, Trunks, I think he's using the actual lore of Dragon Ball Online, but he travels into the future to gather up allies to help him prevent Mira's plan, and that is how Dragon Ball Online starts out. Now he's going step by step, and it's actually pretty interesting. So pretty much hold up. Now here's where things get a little bit sidetracked. Now he does explain how Trunks traveled into the future, the age 1000, and to get up allies to defeat Mira, but then he goes back and says the Time Patrols is a group of warriors gathered by the future Trunks in the age 850 to prevent time breakers and prevent Mira from interfering with time. And obviously he explains how Toki Toki City is the main hub for essentially the Time Patrollers. So that's pretty interesting. We kind of knew that already. So now it goes into the Dragon Ball Super stuff, where if you haven't seen episode 49 or 48, I believe, I think it's 48 or 49, this is kind of like a spoiler. So at this point, if you want to leave now, you could leave, but if you're still here, we're going into the spoiler stuff now. So pretty much Beerus tells the Z Fighter that time travel is a very great sin. As you guys remember, it's a very great sin. Not even the gods themselves are allowed to travel back in time. But what's actually interesting, or what's actually weird, is that he doesn't punish them. He actually just takes food as a bribe to keep himself quiet. But what this guy is speculating is that Beerus knows about how Bulma was the first person to the first person to create the time machine, and Trunks being the first person to travel back in time. He also speculates that Beerus remembers the Migra and the encounter that they had with Goku alongside the future warrior, and these events took place after the Battle of Gods and before resurrection of F. He's also speculating that Krona summoned Goku with the Dragon Balls, like how he did with Trunks, like how Trunks did summon the future warrior. So basically he's saying that he summoned Goku, and then sent Goku back with all his memories gone. I don't know what the case may be, but that's how he explains the tie-ins between Beerus and the Migra and Goku and future Trunks. Now this is how, I guess, he explains how Time Patrol Trunks is canon. So I don't remember this part, to be honest with you. If anyone does remember this, let me know. But according to him, I'm just going to read out what he says. He says that future Trunks, as a Time Patroller, sends a letter to Bulma during the events of Resurrection of F, and pretty much that confirms that Time Patrol Trunks is part of the Dragon Ball Super universe. And blue hair future Trunks is not aware of the events of Resurrection of F, since he did not know that Goku was still alive. So I don't remember Patrol Trunks sending a letter to Bulma. I have to go back and check that, but I'm gonna take his word for it for now and just believe that maybe he did. So yeah, that's how he ties in Patrol Trunks to be canon, because he sent a letter to Bulma during the Resurrection of F. I have to go back and check to see if that is true. And now he goes in to explain how there's a difference between Patrol Trunks' hair and future Trunks' hair. So he's saying that future Trunks of Xenoverse has pink hair, and future Trunks, in Super has blue hair. So he's saying that, the future Trunks in Super is a younger version of the Time Patrol Trunks. Or I don't know. I think this part here where he explains the hair color difference is pretty, I guess, irrelevant, since we kind of have an explanation as to why future Trunks' hair is blue, but the rest of it gets a little bit more interesting. So now he goes into explaining who Black Goku is, and essentially, he talks about how, Black Goku has only one green Potara ring, and the Migra also has the same color green Potara rings. And essentially he is saying that Black Goku is essentially a Mikaiotion, and he was wait, hold on, I'm reading this wrong. Sorry, now I'm reading this wrong. Sorry. He's saying that the Kai that Black Goku is with, like the green, the green faced, white haired Kai, is a Mikaiotion. So that's the theory there. I'm just reading this as I go along. So yeah. Now this is where things get a little bit interesting. Now he's saying that Black Goku is probably Beat. Now as I said before, Beat is the character from Dragon Ball Heroes, and he's saying that Beat is Black Goku, and he's tying in how Beat has history with the Migra, he has history with the Supreme Kai. He's also saying that Beat and Black Goku have similar outfits, similar style of outfits. They both have darker toned skins, and he's saying that Beat is pretty much strong enough to be as powerful as a god, since he did acquire Super Saiyan God powers when he traveled back in time, and he grew up, I guess, changed his outfit, and maintained his powers. Now he also explains how Black Goku doesn't see himself as a Saiyan, because Beat, the Saiyan hero, he's technically a human, who lives pretty much in kind of like our reality, but then he goes into this machine, like this video game machine, that gives him advanced time travel technology, and pretty much allows him to become a Saiyan. So that's why I guess Black Goku never refers to him as a Saiyan, because he knows he's not born a Saiyan. It's kind of crazy, but it's pretty interesting anyways. He talks about how, like I said before, Beat has history. He's been there with the Migra, he fought alongside Kona, he has ties with the good guys and the bad guys. He goes into that, and then he goes into small stuff like what's it called again, time being like expressed as crystals, as you see, when the head freezes time, it's like he creates crystals around him. And when we saw in Dragon Ball Xenoverse the intro, and when the Migra is involved, it's always time is always, I guess, portrayed as crystals. And yeah, so he's pretty much trying to say that Dragon Ball Super is trying to make Xenoverse and Heroes and Dragon Ball Online canon. And the way he explains it is that, since there are 12 universes in the Dragon Ball, I guess, universe, one of those universes is the Xenoverse world, the other one is Dragon Ball Online, and the other one is Dragon Ball Heroes. And he also, yeah, that's pretty much it though. It's a pretty interesting theory. I just thought I'd share it with you guys and see what you guys think. The full theory will be in the description below if you guys want to check it out. So yeah, let me just talk about this theory now. I've never played Dragon Ball Online, I can say that for sure. I've read about it, because when I found out that Xenoverse was, I guess, successor to the online game, I thought, let me just look into it and see that where Mira and Towa came from, how they came to be and stuff like that. And it's pretty interesting. And with Dragon Ball Heroes, I always seen Dragon Ball Heroes as just a fan fiction game. Like everything that you could ever imagine is coming to reality. Like, you know, you see Super Saiyan 3 Bardock, you see Time Breaker Vegeta, you see Super Saiyan 3 Trunks. It's a lot of crazy stuff. But to tie Super Saiyan God Beat into this, now I don't know about the laws of beats, so I have to go and look into that. But if that's true, and you know, this guy Toriyama is really trying to tie in. I can see him try to tie in Xenoverse though. I mean, if he does that, it'd be interesting. Like, if Xenoverse becomes canon, that would mean that our character and every character ever created is technically canon, because we are the time patrollers, you know, mentioned, you know, in the Dragon Ball Xenoverse and all that stuff. But yeah, it's pretty interesting how Super is now going into this whole time travel business, and how, you know, Black Goku has the ring of time, and he's able to travel back in time very easily. Like, I mean, like, okay, I wouldn't say he travels back in time very easily, because the only reason why he's able to travel back in time is because Trunks went back in time, and he's following Trunks. So maybe, you know, Black Goku is trying to correct the mistakes that Trunks did. I don't know, that's another theory that's out there. Like, maybe, you know, Black Goku is like a, you know, gone rogue time patroller who's trying to fix time in his own way, in his own dark and twisted way. And, you know, Trunks is at the center of all of it, because he is the first person, the first, you know, humanoid Saiyan to go back in time and pretty much create the events that we see today. So it's crazy, it's out of this world, and I'm pretty sure none of this will probably happen. Like, if it does happen, I have no idea how the community would feel about this. Me, you know, I'd be pretty okay with it if it all just makes sense. If it all makes sense, and this is something that Toriyama wants to do, as we all remember, or should remember, this is Toriyama's story. He's the one that's creating everything. So if he wants Xenoverse to become, you know, reality, to become canon, he can do that. And we've seen evidence how, you know, Toriyama treats his characters. Like, for example, in Xenoverse, from what I've read, from what I've heard anyways, we should have been able to kill Toya and, you know, Mira, but, you know, Toriyama pretty much made it that we couldn't kill them. So instead, you know, we had to kill the Mira. So he actually likes, you know, Mira and Towa, and so if his fond for these characters is strong enough, he could actually want to make them canon, somehow bring them into Dragon Ball Super. And if he actually does that, if he actually makes them canon, like, it's like, bruh. Sorry. Yeah, like, it's actually pretty interesting. But yeah, that's this guy's theory. Let me know what you guys think. It's pretty interesting, to be honest, really. This is probably the longest theory video I've ever done, but it's pretty interesting, and I can't wait. Like Dragon Ball Super, the future Trunks arc is probably the most interesting arc I've seen so far. Like, I can't wait to see the fight between Goku and Black Goku and all that stuff. I think I'm actually now more interested in the explanation of Black Goku and who he is and why he's chasing Trunks, because I don't think he's the god of destruction. It doesn't really make sense for me, because if he's the god of destruction, that planet should have been gone from day 2 at the very least. Because if you look at Beerus, he doesn't waste any time. He sees the planet, he goes into the planet, and if something pisses him off for even the slightest, that planet is completely gone. But according to what we saw in Dragon Ball Super, you know, Black Goku spent almost an entire year you know, on planet Earth in future Trunks' timeline, and he basically just been destroying things, messing things up. So I don't think he's the god of destruction, because a god of destruction, from his explanations, are neither good or bad. They're just doing their job to keep the universe in balance. But Black Goku seems to be on a mission. Like, he really wants Trunks dead. Like, he wants him gone. And I feel like even if you kill Trunks, the events have already happened. There's no way you could stop it from continuing on, and you know, it's that. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of this theory. It's pretty interesting. I don't think some of the things don't hold on because don't make any sense, because you know he says as well that GT is also canon because Xenoverse is canon, and that doesn't really make any sense because GT has been established to be the ultimate failure that we shouldn't be talking about anymore. Like, it is straight up not canon anymore because Super has destroyed any chance of GT ever being canon, so that goes out the window. But he does have some, you know, interesting points here and there, and pretty much, yeah, let me know what you guys think. Yeah, I'm done with this video. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.